We're back at Investor Channel's headquarters in San Diego, California. I'm your host, Daniel Wong. On today's program, we welcome back our longtime guest, Ric Schumacher, the CEO of Pressure Biosciences. Ric, thanks so much for taking the time again with us.
Appreciate the time. Thank you, Dan.
So, Ric, there's been a lot of things that have gone on so far. You just recently announced that you acquired all the assets of Bayerfold. Tell us what the significance means for Pressure Biosciences and this combination of companies together.
Well, this is exciting for us. It's our first acquisition at Pressure Biosciences. Barofold is a terrific company in the high pressure space, just like us. I've known Barofold and I've known the scientists there for about a dozen years. They were a company that was given and earned patents in the area of using high pressure to what we call unfold and refold proteins. What that means is proteins are structures that under pressure will unfold. Think about a bunch of yarn with 50 different colors, and then as you put it under pressure, all the yarn, it opens up and you can see all the colors inside. You can do the same with protein. You can put proteins under pressure, they will unravel, unfold, and when you take the pressure off, they'll fold back. Sometimes when you're dealing with a protein, it's misfolded. It's not correct. And when you unfold it and then take the pressure off, it refolds in the proper structure, and therefore you get back the activity that perhaps it's lost if that protein is a drug. So Barofold's been around for a dozen years. They had patents issued in the area of folding and unfolding. It's the one area in pressure in the life sciences that we didn't have, and it got to a point where their business plan was not working. We knew them, we got together, and they thought we'd be the right company to take it over, and we are. And so we purchased and announced it earlier this week, the purchase of all of the assets of Barofold, all of the assets that relate to pressure and the use of pressure in the life sciences. Dan, they probably put in, I'm guessing, I know they raised over $20 million for the company over a few years. So you can imagine the patent estate that they have, the intellectual property estate is absolutely marvelous. It's now part of us.
I mean, what a great opportunity for you, and that turns you into now getting into biopharm as well as a couple other areas, correct?
Well, what it does is, first of all, one of the big differences between Pressure Biosciences and Barofold's not an equipment company. So when they wanted someone to look at the potential of using their technology to make a better drug or to do better research, they would have to build the instrument. And the instrument could cost many, many, many tens of thousands of dollars, and they would have to buy it up front. In our case, we already have the instrumentation. Our instrumentation, of which you know, we have 300 instruments in the field now. We have more that are being sold every month, every week. These instruments will use the Barofold technology. So when a company, usually a biotherapeutic company, a large biotherapeutic company, is interested to see whether or not their drug can be enhanced, their activity can be enhanced by using the Barofold patents, they'll come to us and they can use our equipment. They can lease our equipment very quickly. It's not cumbersome. It's small. It can be shipped out right away. And we're going to be able to expand the universe of companies interested in this technology by a magnitude, because we have hundreds of companies that we're dealing with, in thousands of companies on our list and thousands of researchers, and we already have the equipment. So the acquisition is going to, first of all, help sell us our equipment. There are a lot of researchers around the world that are very interested in looking at how their protein that they're studying for whatever disease or disorder, how it acts under pressure. They're going to be able to come to us now, buy our equipment, and use our equipment for their studies. Number two, this puts us right into the business of being a contract research service provider. What that means is those who don't want to buy our equipment can come to us, as they did in Barofold in the past, and they can pay us a fee, and we will look at their protein, and we will see how their protein acts under pressure. And number three, if their protein works well under pressure, if we solve some of the problems that they have, if this protein is going to be a biological drug, if this protein is hoping to be a drug that they're going to be selling on the market, and we can solve some of the problems that they have by doing these studies, which they'll pay us for, they then can license our technology as part of their manufacturing process, and we will be getting a royalty. So potentially, we could be looking at millions of dollars in royalty income that are coming from a company or two that might have a protein drug that we can make better, make it more effective by using our technology that we just acquired.
That seems like a fantastic acquisition for the company and definitely adding a lot of value and the perfect fit there. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Rick, you know, last time we touched on the UltraShear technology, and that was really, really interesting to us, and I'm sure a lot of viewers out there, because that is a game-changing technology that you have some patents filed on. What's the recent updates on that?
Well, you know, UltraShear, the one common denominator about UltraShear and about the Barofold patents that we talked about, and about our core business that your listeners have heard about several times. The one common denominator is everything is related to pressure. Mother Nature, good old pressure. But we use high pressure. Our pressures go up to 45,000 pounds per square inch on our everyday flagship instruments, and go up to about 100,000 psi on some other instruments. UltraShear uses very high pressure. What UltraShear does is it takes materials, generally liquids. Think about vinegar and oil. Think about vinegar and water. They don't mix. You know, you take vinegar and oil, you can sediment them out. You just let them settle for a couple of minutes and they settle out. Think about putting that through our system. What it does is it takes it to very high pressure, and then we release it through a bunch of valves that shear or tear or break. And what it does is it takes the oil droplets and breaks it into tiny, tiny little nanoparticles that then they become soluble in water or soluble in the other liquid. And therefore, we can take vinegar and oil, we can take raspberry vinaigrette, we can put it through the system, and it'll be one product at the end that will not separate. This can happen with cosmetics. This can happen with paint, inks, lubricants, pharmaceuticals, nutraceuticals, everywhere where you're trying to put together 2 or 3 liquids that do not mix, and you have to, in the past, use chemicals, what we call emulsifiers, to help them mix. We think we can mix them by putting them through UltraShear, breaking the oil down to very small nanoparticles, which then solubilize it, go into water or into the other liquid, and it gives you much more stability, much more bioavailability. If this is a drug, if this is the nutraceutical, we believe you're going to have a lot more available of the bioactive compound. So it's a process that we've patented. We have 2 existing patents. We have more patents we think are coming. And I think the biggest update since we saw you last, Daniel, is that we are negotiating with one of the top food academic institutions in the country, one of the very top. And what we're looking at is building a pilot instrument to show how this can work in food. And I believe that one of the first areas we're going to look at is dairy product. You can't pasteurize, you can't heat products without hurting them, like liquid cheese, for instance, ice cream, or yogurts, things like that. You really can't pasteurize them without hurting the texture and the flavor. We think we can bring them up to very high pressure and put them through UltraShear and kill the bacteria, kill the viruses that may be in it, so it sterilizes the material, but it also makes it into one liquid and not 2 or 3. So we're very excited about this too.
Rick, it's a fascinating technology. It's almost kind of hard to wrap your mind around because there's so many various applications, and to see the massive potential there, it almost doesn't seem real in a sense to try to grasp that, but it is very real, and you're in talks with those people. So that's something we're looking forward to, definitely getting some more updates around that.
Well, the one thing I would add is, we talked very briefly about last time, was CBD. CBD is one of the cannabidiols that are in the hemp plant, the non-psychoactive compounds of marijuana or cannabis. And CBD now, which is a lot of people are just absolutely believing that this is a compound that can help them in many different areas, arthritis, anxiety, things like this. The CBD right now comes out in an oil. It comes out in a plant oil. What if we could take that plant oil, break it down to smaller particles of oil, and if the CBD is still active, which we believe it would be, you then would have a CBD enriched oil that you could then drop into your tea or put in your water. You would ingest it, and your body would actually intake it. Right now, your body takes very little of that CBD out of the plant oil because our bodies don't ingest oil. So it's not a good a mechanism of getting CBD into the system. We think, and we're talking to CBD companies right now and hope to have something soon with working with at least one, if not more, on trying to get their CBD much more bioactive and more an ability to uptake it from the body.
I think that'd be a great opportunity. Obviously, yes, we've seen a lot of news and a lot of products out there, and people are reporting fantastic results from cannabinoids. So, I mean, I definitely think that's a great application for you, and look forward to the progress there too. Now, let's go back to your Barocycler 2320 Extreme. It's won multiple awards. It's one of the best machines out there, if not the best machine out there, of course. And you just had a major software upgrade to that particular machine, which now makes you GMP compliant, which is good manufacturing practices. Tell us what that means for the instrument and what it means for Pressure Biosciences.
Well, as you know, our sales have been going up 20-30% a quarter, quarter over quarter, year over year. The sales have been going up because of the brand new machine that came out maybe a year ago. It has so many more bells and whistles. It can do more. Pressure is pressure. You go to 30,000 PSI, 40,000 PSI, and you kill a bacteria. You open up a virus. You study what's inside. All of those things are good. But the new machine, because it's computer driven, has immense capabilities, has far more inputs and outputs. The bottom line is we were never, in our previous machine, which we sold for 6 or 7 years, we were never able to download what the machine actually did to the sample that it was working on. So if we were trying to break open a prostate cancer cell or trying to open up a fungus that's killing the wheat, we could do that with our machine. We could use pulses of pressure, cycles of pressure, and break open these bacteria and fungus and cells. However, there was no record of what we did, of what happened, how much pressure, how long under pressure, what temperature. The software we wrote, which took a number of revisions over a year, we worked hand in glove with one of the largest biotechnology companies in the world. This is a biopharma company with many drugs on the market, and they saw the potential of what we had, and they worked with us, didn't charge us anything. In fact, the opposite. Once we got it done, just in the past few weeks, they've now purchased 4 new instruments. They used to have 2, now they have 6. Why? Because with the new software, they can download everything that machine did to that sample. So they can use it in all parts of the development of a drug, from looking in the very beginning to what the biomarker is or where the target is, to developing the drug, to designing and developing it, to manufacturing the drug, and then to getting it out in the market and quality controlling the drug. They will have a record on all of those phases of drug development and design and drug manufacture, which they could never have before. And we think this is one of the very few instruments that are being used for the preparation of samples that is GMP compliant, which means that they can follow it. They will have an active record. They will know everything that happened to that compound and all the steps of manufacturing. And we're very excited about it because we think this is going to open up an amazing new avenue. We could always sell an instrument to a company because they would use it for non-GMP reasons, where in the early research of a drug, but once they found something, they couldn't use us anymore. Now they can because of the software. So we think that the GMP compliant software, which is now available as of now, is going to open up many more labs in the same organizations where we have one system now, or maybe even none.
Well, Rick, I definitely see how that's furthering the application there, and that's going to help with sales. That's going to help drive these particular products, and obviously just get some that much more effectiveness there for these people searching for those. And Rick, I'd like to note though, you just had a business update conference call yesterday, and for those of you who'd like to listen to it, there was members of the team there speaking about that. Dr. Ting, Rick, of course, giving some updates on the recent things there. The replay number there is 877-481-4010, and the replay ID is 23207. Rick, that looks like we're about out of time for today, but we'd like to thank you so much for coming on. We'll definitely have you back on again soon sometime.
I appreciate it, Daniel, very much. Thank you.
Guys, again, that was Ric Schumacher, CEO of Pressure Biosciences, ticker symbol PBIO. For more information, go to pressurebiosciences.com. Follow them on their LinkedIn, their Facebook for more information. But hey guys, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter, follow us on Facebook. We'll catch you next time. Stay tuned for the next interviews here on InvestorTownHall.com.